We ready? Oh my goodness, suddenly I'm live, my voice is booming. This is really fun. It's quite echoey in here, isn't it? La! Oh my God, look at I think I can hear that right over there. I better not do that again. I'm not going to sing again. Don't worry, no more singing. Actually, with the headphones, can you hear me in your headphones? Is that how it works? So I hope I didn't give you a headache with my little operatic moment there. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming. So look, I am Dr. Gabriel Hughes, and I am the founder and CEO of Metagenie, based in London. We are a custom marketing effectiveness business, and I would say we were a good custom marketing effectiveness business, but that wouldn't quite be correct. We are in fact the best. We won this award last night, the best e-commerce support agency 2023, right? So we're the best, guys. Thank you. It does mean I'm a little bit wobbly. I did drink a bit too much champagne last night. I'm a little bit. So, yeah, if I get a bit lost, just kind of stare at me and I'll come back, I promise. So I've been doing this company, I've been doing it for about 8 years now, and the reason why I'm quite big on marketing effectiveness is because, and some of you would already know this perhaps, is I am the inventor of multi-touch attribution. So if you've heard of attribution, I've been working on it longer than anyone, so I invented it with the team at Google, patented it at Google in about 2011, it was when it was patented. So the first multi-touch attribution was actually developed in the UK before it was moved to the US, where it was built into Google Analytics. And this was before data-driven, so this was positional models, like breaking out of last click, first click, linear, all of that jazz, time decay, all of that stuff. So I've been steeped in this for a very long time. I'm very focused on ROI. I'm not going to give a very technical presentation. I'm going to talk about the challenge of ROI for e-commerce, and I'm going to talk about how, guess what, AI is potentially going to help there. I know there's been a lot of hype and a lot of talk about AI, and there's a great stand, isn't there, over there saying, tired of hearing your fifth presentation about AI. Like, there's a lot of hype about AI, fair enough, but I actually think the hype is kind of justified, certainly more so than technologies like blockchain. Sorry if you're a fan of blockchain, but it's real what's happening, and the change is really quite extraordinary. So I'm going to talk a bit about that and what it means for my space, which is measurement, data analytics, marketing effectiveness, attribution. Okay, a few case studies and what it means for ROI. Now, we're all very excited about the potential of technology to transform e-commerce, and there's lots of positive vibes everywhere about e-commerce, and I don't want to put a downer on it, but the fact is, if you talk to people who are running especially large e-commerce operations and have been doing it for a while, it is tough out there. It is tough out there. Actually, not all of them, but costs are rising. There's intense competition. This is an article from this summer, City AM, right? The financial magazine. And it's saying the number of insolvencies in UK e-commerce businesses has risen 71% year on year. This is just from earlier this summer. Boo, who we know about, Made.com would be another one. Some quite big names that were quite established in e-commerce have actually gone under. If you're a smaller e-commerce retailer, you're facing intense pressure. We've been talking to D2Cs who are struggling with the fact that they're trying to maintain and manage their costs, but they're also having to sell through wholesale, through Amazon. They're competing against themselves in that space. It isn't easy out there. And what this does is it puts more focus on ROI, because after all, ROI or ROAS, whatever you want to call it, however you measure it, cost per acquisition, whatever it is, generally it's about inputs and outputs, right? It's about trying to achieve value on the one side and manage the cost to create that value on the other. If you like, it's the ratio of value to cost that you're trying to make bigger all the time. That is what ROI is. So if you're under pressure in the marketplace with intense competition, pushing down your prices and you've got CPMs, marketing costs rising faster than inflation, your ROI is going down. And that means that you really want to gain control over that ROI, and maybe data can help. It should help, right? But often it doesn't. So the classic SaaS platform goes, give us all your data or plug in this tag. Here's our amazing machine. All the data comes in. We're going to do something brilliant with it, and it's going to make it all better for you. And it is a machine that really works for the people selling that machine because it scales really well. It's really profitable for the SaaS platform itself. And it claims to solve your problem. But the problem is that it's inflexible. Every business is different. Every business has unique challenges, right? You have different purchase cycles, different methods of purchase. You have different customer segments. You have maybe a mixture of offline and online sales. In the D2C case, you might have as I mentioned, the wholesale versus your own. And these solutions are not adapted to that. And if they're more generic, like just data meets analytics, well, you have the other problem that they're long on data and short on insight. It just gives you a job to do. I mean, people are freaking out with Google Analytics 4 right now because they've gone, we can't use this e-commerce rigid template that we had in Universal Analytics. We can't universally apply this. They've done good things actually with the way they've changed the underlying data, but we get people going, this is a nightmare, because they were using it to measure what they were doing, and now it's kind of a DIY thing. And you need, therefore, an analytical capability. You need someone to come and figure it out. It's like, you figure it out. Here's all the data, you figure it out. And you pretty much realize that, you know what, it doesn't have your signals in it. It doesn't measure the impressions from Meta. It doesn't do TikTok. It's only the clicks. It's a rigid platform that serves its purpose, but not your purpose. And, you know, that's why we provide custom solutions. So it's tougher to do this, but what we actually do is we go, what's the problem you're trying to solve? We've got a toolkit, and we're going to use that toolkit to build a solution that works for you. It's why, even though we're relatively small, we work with some really big name brands. Jimmy Choo, who were here yesterday, for example, signed this year. We've got Toolstation, we've got Shoe, we've got AO.com, TalkTalk are a client. These are all really big brands, and they've all got really unique, custom, complex problems, so they need help to solve them, and that's what we do in our space. Okay, but can AI help, is the question I'm posing today. Is AI going to make this easier? Well, there is, I think, happening an AI-powered revolution in analytics. I asked Midjourney to create this image of this woman with a when you talk about AI and you tell Midjourney to create, it always seems to create a woman, a very sort of intelligent-looking woman who's looking off into the future. So that's kind of, I guess, what that's doing there. But it's not one solution. It's not like AI meets data equals AI analytics. Ta-da! I don't think so. I think that what we're talking about is a number of different enablers that are AI related, that when they come together will and already are leading to a really much better relationship between the brand and their customers, but also through the users and the analysts who work within your organization, you know, and their data, so you get a stronger sense of what it means. So we take machine learning based attribution, and it's trained on your data. So it's not like our machine learning model is this accurate or whatever. No, it's your machine learning model is this accurate based on your data. And guess what? We're going to track how accurate it is, and we're going to do that for every individual customer with a different model for each individual customer that's trained on their data, and you can track the accuracy and you can retrain the model. So that's sort of it in the below the bonnet. But then on the other side of it, and this is why I mean end to end, the insights we think, can increasingly be AI enabled. And some of you have probably played around with some of the tools that are now available. So, for example, in GPT, right, you can plug in your data and you can ask it to analyze it. It's a very difficult area. It's still an emerging area. You know, is it safe to put your data into a platform like that? And is it going to tell you complete porkies? Yes, by the way. You know, but it's obviously got the potential to sort of be the analyst for you. So that instead of you trying to figure out what does this data mean, the AI can say, this is what your data means. It can turn that conversation around. Because as a business owner or someone who works in e-commerce, actually you don't want to be rummaging around in the data trying to figure out what it means. You want actionable insights, or you want to be able to plug something you can believe in into an automation that does it for you, and you expect the technology and now the AI to help you do that. And that is really now possible. It's been talked about for a long time, but it's really going to happen. I think AI is making analysis more customer-centric. So you can predict intent, you can adapt, you can personalize your marketing, and it's about insights more than it is about dashboards. So just going to the bottom of it then, the sort of how you can use it at a low level. When we talk about attribution, actually our attribution models are predictive intent models. So you have this idea of, you know, and I apologize for this brain here, but you know, we're talking about hybrid machine learning technologies essentially, and not necessarily the one method for every single case. But it is possible with behavioral data and marketing data to predict the likelihood that someone's going to buy something. And it's possible to do that in a dynamic way, and it's possible to actually target on that basis. So if you like, anyone who shows up has an intent score of their likelihood to either convert or not convert. You have to look at the history of, you know, what you've seen with other customers. If you can use customer signals, you will do that. And it doesn't have to just be purchased, by the way. There's no reason why you can't have multiple goals. Some businesses, it's about proxy goals, right? If you're selling cars, well, you used to say people don't buy cars online. Actually, sometimes they do. Actually, during the pandemic, people do buy cars online. But more often than not, you are interested and you book a test drive or something like that. I've spoken to some car manufacturers who do this kind of analysis. And there's some interesting stuff, you know. So the people who go on and they do those car configurators where you can like build your own car and design your own vehicle, they're not interested in buying. They're just using, it's just fun. It's like a game. It's like, I'm going to design my supercar, you know. So you can really figure out what behavior means actually by looking at the relationship between the behavior and the outcome that you see. And we leverage this not just for attribution, but for other uses, which are essentially personalization use cases. So this is a case study that won us an award before, Best Use of AI. This is another award, not this year's. But this one was with AO.com, large UK white goods retailer. And basically, based on people's likelihood to buy, we targeted discounts at certain people, but not others. So you're able to essentially protect your margin whilst discounting for certain customers who kind of needed a nudge, right? So it's basically a personalized, if you like, discounting or pricing system, which is therefore very ROI effective, all right? And we got some really good results and really good feedback from them. More conventionally, in the analytics space, where we do these custom work, we want to use these models to then say something about not the past, how did I do, but about the future. And apologies, it is a chart, you know, we haven't quite got rid of charts just yet, but just bear with me. This is showing, and it's a little bit small on the screen, so I'll just point. You've got your business as usual revenue, which is this dark blue one, and then your optimized revenue, and then you've also got an ROI, which you can see is helpfully going up here, because what you're doing is you're saying, I want to simulate a scenario, and this is a simplified view, normally there's a lot more scenarios, but I want to say increase my budget by 20%. Can I do that and get higher ROI? Quite hard to do. Normally when you spend more, actually your ROI goes down because of diminishing returns. But the whole point, by the way, of attribution and marketing measurement is ROI optimization, because what you do is you move money out of the low ROI activity and into the high ROI activity, okay? So you can, by predicting how the marketing's going to behave, you can optimize that ROI, and it can turn into recommendations, it can turn into media plans, and it is helped by essentially predictive machine learning technology. So, the sorts of things you can do are allowing you to break out the limits of conventional attribution. So in this case, where even though, we can't now track individual exposures to social and display ads, we can produce hybrid models that allow us to understand the relationship between social and display and conversions. And we did this for Shoe, they were very happy, and guess what, there's a lot of hidden value there in their social and display activity and video activity, which has allowed them to optimize those channels. So it's conventional in terms of the sort of what we're doing, but actually it's groundbreaking for them because it gives them the confidence to invest, and it's about a recommended outcome for them rather than just getting lost in a load of numbers. So I don't have any more slides, and I'm here until 10:02, so I'm going to take questions in a minute, but just a little bit more from me. So you're going to ask, before I get into this business here, because I've said a lot of what I want to say, what I think is really exciting, and we're building out these features whereby when you're looking at that report, that one I just showed you, and simulating different scenarios, you want to be able to not just use filters and so on, you want to be able to ask it questions, ask my data a question, And as I say, the challenge is the reliability and the data security, but it is getting there. And we have, features that we're working on. And one of the things we have done is we've created this avatar. It's a chatbot, but it's quite a good chatbot. And you can go and talk to it right now if you like, and ask it questions about marketing effectiveness, about measurement, about what we do, and chat to it and see what it recommends. If you're facing a measurement challenge, what does it recommend? It does quite a good job. And the goal then is to do that with your data, with your business, to help you optimize your business. That's where we want to go with it. But I think AI technologies are already creating greater leverage. The machine learning cases I've been talking about, these have now been around for a while. They're maturing, they're becoming more sophisticated. What we're doing is personalizing them, customizing them to individual customers instead of a one-size-fits-all approach. But it's an enabler with multiple use cases, both in the data, but also in the insight. So what's that going to do, and how does that go back to ROI and my problem that I posed at the start of the presentation, where I talked about the challenges that e-commerce is facing? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to help you reduce waste in the system. It's going to help you manage those costs. If you move your marketing spend out of low ROI activities into higher ROI activities, and you have confidence in the accuracy of that model because it's trained on your data, because it's adapted to your problems, then you will get more bang for your buck, increase your ROI, less waste, you'll save a lot of money, you'll get more sales as a result. That's what I mean by ROI amplification. Obviously there are broader, there's a lot of already you've seen probably dozens of presentations about how you can use AI to personalize your CRM, or how you can use it to create multiple versions of videos. All those things are great as well. I also think it will help within operations, automating and so on. So there's lots of ways in which AI will enable e-commerce to kind of improve and optimize. And so I think what the sector will do, and is already doing, is what it's always done, which is it will embrace the technology and use it to keep pushing the boundaries, keep providing even more efficient solutions for customers. The winner at the end of the day is the customer, and it's up to the e-commerce providers to just hang in there and keep working to invest in it. And I think, certainly with AI, the investment in AI will pay dividends. I'm absolutely confident about that. That's why we're investing in it ourselves. So yeah, have a go with Genie anyway. I'd love to know what you think about Genie. So this is us. Look, this is some of us anyway. Like I said, we're the best. We're an agency just in London. We're a team of people who help you. It's heavily serviced. It's not a plug-and-play SaaS platform. That's just some of us in our London offices. And come and see us on our stand. We're on a stand just up there. All right. We love our QR codes. And QR codes, a few years ago, I thought QR codes were like, nah, QR codes, really? Actually, they kind of made a comeback. It's a bit like market mix modeling in my space. It's sort of like back to the future. So, yeah, an ebook. Someone said, an ebook? That's a bit 2007, isn't it? Well, yeah, sorry. But, it's an ebook, and it's whatever stage you're at. You may not be as big as some of our clients that we've talked about, but it may be of relevance to you. It's a bit of you've got to basically get to the page and hit the green button that says download the ebook, and then you sign up to our newsletter and whatever as well. So, and visit our stand. So, we've got 5 minutes to go. Gentleman there has a microphone. I am very happy to take questions and would love to hear what you have to say, or any thoughts or challenges that you want to throw at me. I'm interested. Anyone? Don't all go at once. Someone's got a question. No, he's just taking a photo. Come on, guys. Someone could. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, just wait for a sec. We just got this microphone here. Yeah.
Hi. How about biometric data? Can you get biometric data from site users and include that?
Well, you might be able to. Look, anyone who works in data, and certainly people who work in e-commerce, the absolute golden rule is to respect people's privacy. So that's why we wouldn't go there. We have an absolute proviso. Yeah, we'll get all over your data and help you, but data protection comes first. So we refuse to collect any. So we never mind biometrics. We don't want your email address unless you're consenting, because you're downloading an ebook. We don't want to take any personal information from anyone that isn't 100% consented. So that's the constraint, and quite right too. It's absolutely vital. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting in a way, because if you move around, you behave on a website, you kind of are providing a sort of fingerprint, a behavioral fingerprint. But we have to take that as an anonymous, as it were, shadow of what you're doing. The equivalent would be, I've noticed when people come into the shop and they, wander up and they're just wandering around like this, that they're not really interested in buying anything. But if someone rushes into the shop like this and they start rummaging through the rack over here, then I can tell they want to buy something in that category and they want to do it quickly. And so that response to their behavior, that predicting intent, that then lends itself to the personalization space, which is obviously a lot of businesses are interested in here as well. I think that's as close as you're going to get to that sort of fingerprinting, if you like, of people, is really just the kinds of behavior. You don't want to get more specific than that because of respect for people's privacy. Yeah. Go on.
Hey. Hello, just a quick question, and thank you for the talk. Pretty interesting topic.
Thank you.
What is your main use case or the typical solutions that your clients end up implementing in terms of activation? So, for example, you talked about a predictive propensity in terms of purchase.
Yeah.
How do you go about activating that? Or you talked about the part where you can choose what budget you do for each platform, but in terms of direct activation on the platforms.
No, thank you for that question. It's a good question. You're right. In marketing, there's that sort of like planning piece that you get. So the simulator that I showed you, we call it the simulator. It sort of is a bit like market mix modeling, where it informs your media plan. But of course, you want to, in this day and age, be able to plug it straight into activation. So once we've figured out what your attribution is, net of everything else that's out there and against your goals, then, for example, one of the things we do is we plug the daily click-based attribution, the value of every single click, straight in to search bidding through Search Ads 360. So we'll let Google Search Ads 360 decide the bidding strategy, because they do it better, frankly, and it's very hard to do well. But we will tell it what we think the value of the click is. We're not going to take Google's model to tell you what the value of the click is, especially in the days of performance max. One of the reasons CPMs are going up is performance max, right? It's sucking up a lot of budget. So we do have activation like that in terms of real-time linking back. We're doing similar things with display and social. We have a Smartly integration, for example. So yeah, it's very important to activate in a live way. One more question, just about time. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah.
In terms of propensities,
Yes.
AI-enabled propensities,
Yeah.
are they better or worse than conventional propensity models to purchase, for example?
Well, I mean, essentially, I suppose what you're talking about is what is the right modeling strategy for predicting propensity, and what data can you use? There's been a bit of a trade-off where, you know, a good ensemble machine learning method will give you a pretty damn good read on propensity, and it'll do it generally a lot faster than some deep network model. But you know, you've got to cook with the ingredients you have. You can usually get more gains actually through bringing in more data points than through worrying about the particular methodology that you want to use. So our approach is like, yeah, you should really, I guess, try multiple strategies if it's a machine learning project in that way, and you know, you compare it on the right kind of metrics. The big problem you get in propensity modeling is I can predict whether someone's going to convert on your website, right? So it's like this: 3% of people convert on your website, 97% don't. So I predict, if someone comes up, that they're not going to convert. And guess what? I've got 97% accuracy, right? So you do need to think about this a little bit, because most people don't convert. So you have this problem of imbalance, and you have the problem of choosing which are the right metrics to use to validate that. Most people don't convert. So you've got to work that out when you do this, and you know, select your metrics in a sense. So it's a machine learning data science problem, is the way I look at that. I think we're out of time. Guys, thank you so much. Come and see us. We're on the stand over there. Remember, we are the best. We're the best. There we go. All right. See ya.